Well, hello. It's Karen McDermott Rolfe, Independent Creative Memories Advisor. Today I'm here with a video demonstration using the Dine Border Punch from Creative Memories. I was challenged by one of my followers to try to come up with a method, a way of cutting a circular piece using the Dine Border Punch. And so that's what I'd like to show you today. And then I also have the layout to show you that I'll use it on. So to begin with, I'm going to use my custom cutting system with the jumbo circle pattern and my green blade. And I'm using a sheet of the silver shimmer cardstock to create my silverware piece with the Dine Punch. So I'm going to cut a circle on the outside edge of that cutting pattern, again using the green blade. Now I'm going to take the punch and I'm going to open it up and I'm going to hold it upside down to work with. And I'm going to punch all the way there around the perimeter of this circular piece. So I have it in my punch here. It's flush against the back side of the punch. And I'm going to punch it once to get it started. Now what I'm going to do is line up the circular piece here, this plate, with the circular portion of the punch. So when I punch, hopefully I'll end up with little circle plates here. So let me come in a little closer and see how I can hold it so you can see it the best. With my pen, perhaps I'll point out, so right here is where the paper had stopped punching. That's the edge of the punched out part of the paper. And I have it lined up about right here on that part of the punch itself. So the metal part of the punch there. So when I punch it, I'm going to get this half of a circle. Let's see how close I got. Pretty close. That looks really good. It's a little bit off, but I'm going to be happy with that. And so I'm going to continue doing that all the way around. Well, that one turned out quite good. I just have to cut off a little piece there with my scissors at the bottom. So again, I'm looking at this part of the paper, and I'm looking at this part of the punch here, lining them up as best I can to get a full circle after I punch. And every time I put the cardstock in the punch, make sure it's flush here, butting up against the bottom of the punch. Okay, that one turned out quite good. You'll also notice after I get it lined up, I'm kind of just pressing halfway down to lock it in place, and then I turn it over before I do the final squeeze. And that way all the debris ends up on my table and not inside of the punch, so it doesn't get jammed up. Also, when you line it up, you want to kind of, look at the angle that you've got the punch in. If you've got it a little bit tilted one way or the other, that might affect your punched piece also. So again, lining it up there, keeping it flush against the bottom, and then going all the way around. Typically, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I like kind of things to be perfect. And this is, they're not quite perfect, but they're really close enough. And I think it's close enough that I can live with it. And I can take my micro tip scissors really easily and do a little bit of trimming to make it more so. I definitely recommend that you practice first on a scrap piece of paper. So practice first and then just go slow. And you notice there I made my last punch. And when I made my last punch, I was still just worrying about this side of the punch. I didn't worry what's happening over here because it's not going to match up perfectly. You can see here I get this big kind of pumpkin shape instead. That's okay with me because I will cover that up when I use my layout. So it didn't match up quite perfectly, but we can cover that up easily and deal with it. And now I can just trim it off with my scissors. And like I said, I will take the time later and go around, trim up these little pieces that are on the plate, or if there's a little notch there and I want it a little bit smoother, And that won't take me hardly any time at all to do a little bit of trim to make it better. So let me show you the rest of the layout now, what I'm thinking. I'm going to take this center part that we cut out of the silver shimmer. I'm going to take the largest circle pattern from the circle patterns, and I'm going to create a hollow circle. I'm going to first cut with the blue blade on the outside edge. And then without moving my cutting pattern, I'm going to cut again with the green blade. That's going to cut a little bit closer, and it's going to give me a thin hollow piece. So what I'm creating now is a dinner plate to go inside of my silverware piece. And again, this was the largest circle pattern from the circle patterns. And there I have my thin little silver piece for my plate detail. My plate I've already cut, and this was a sheet of paper from the very lovely Homestead collection. I just absolutely adore this collection. I love, love, love it. I love the modern, fresh farmhouse feel of it, the rustic tones of it, just very neutral. I love everything about it. I cut this piece again. This was a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. I used the jumbo circle, and I used the blue blade on the inside edge. So the blue blade inside edge to cut my dinner plate. And then for my layout, I think I'm going to put it on this sheet of wood patterned paper. This is also from the Homestead collection. It's going to look like your table, you know, your farmhouse table. And so we have this pretty little china plate that's got some little floral design on your plate. We have this silver embellishment, so just kind of like a dinner plate would have a rim around it maybe. And then we're going to take the silverware piece. And I'm not going to take the time right now to trim it up, but I will do that before I tape it down. I will go around, like I said, with my scissors and do a little bit of trimming. But you can see it looks pretty good how it is. I've got the piece here, that connector piece, over to the side, and I'm going to cover that up with my photo mat. Again, these papers are from the Homestead collection. And I selected this pattern as I thought it looked kind of like a cloth dinner napkin. That would go really well with your dinner plate. So I cut this to 6.5 by 4.5, and then I double matted it again with another sheet from the Homestead collection. So this darker piece behind it is 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. And I think I'll go right like that. So it covers up that one spot that's a little bad. You won't even know it. And then I have an embellishment piece here, also from that Homestead collection. I taped a piece of the paper behind it so we could see the title, has some nice contrast and pops through. I cut some thin pieces from the silver shimmer cardstock and threaded them through the little holes, tied a little knot, and that'll be my title there for the layout. So I thought this was a really sweet layout. I love it a lot. It'll be great for, you know, we all take those photos of our families gathered around the table at holiday times, other times when we just gather around the table together. So I thought I really liked how this turned out, and I hope that you guys give it a try. If you like any of the materials that you've seen, you could purchase all of these materials using my Creative Memories link at creativememories.com/user/Karen, and it's Karen with the Y. And if you're not following me yet on Facebook, you can find me at Karen's Croppers. It's a private group, but I'm glad to add you to my Karen's Croppers group on Facebook. So thanks so much for visiting with me today.